this video I will show you how to work the edged half double crochet. This is the stitch you need to work the kimono, and I will make a mini version of it, so I have a different yarn and a different hook size than recommended in the pattern. So yeah, this is just to show you. You have a slip stitch on your hook and then you chain the amount of chains written in your pattern. I will do the mini version as I said. So now I chain the amount I want and chain 1 as turning chain. Now we are working half double crochets in the second stitch from the hook. This is this one here, and we are working in the back bump. So you turn it a bit, and this bump here is the back bump. So yarn over and work your half double crochet inside, and follow this for all the stitches across, always in the back bump. This makes a more clean edge and looks just a bit more neat. I'm working the last stitch, and here we have the row of half double crochets now as usual. And now I chain 1, and the second row is the row which creates the typical pattern of the edged half double crochet. So the second round is always slip stitch and the back loop only. So this here is the front loop, this is the back loop, and we're always working the slip stitch rows and the back loop. So insert your hook in the back loop of the next stitch and pull through. Make normal slip stitches, and you should really watch out that you're not making your slip stitches too tight, as you have to work in them for the next round. And yeah, it's way easier if they are loose, and yeah, just mind your tension. So this is how it looks after the second row, and chain 1, turn over, and now as it's a 2-row repeat, we repeat the half double crochet row. So yarn over and make your half double crochets in all the stitches across. So I finished a row of the half double crochets, chain 1 and turn, and now it's again the slip stitch row on the back loop. So insert your hook in the back loop and work your slip stitches. Again, remember to not make them too tight. So this is how it looks like so far. And yeah, chain 1, turn, and work again the half double crochets. I finished this row of half double crochets, and now you can get an idea how the pattern of this edged half double crochet would look like. So here you see this 2 lines here, looks a bit like purl stitch in knitting. So this is the right side of your project, and if you turn it around, you can see here those kind of V shapes, horizontal V shapes, and this is the wrong side. So we assume you finished your sleeve. I will work a mini version now, and yeah, so you reached your last row was a half double crochet row, and you reached your last stitch. Now you cut your yarn and fasten off. So, and now it's important that you turn your work. Take your yarn, make a slip knot, and chain the amount of chains needed for the body as written in the pattern. As I make a mini version, I will just do like 5 stitches, or maybe 6 stitches. Okay, so, and now you attach your body like this one. your body chain directly here on top, and this is the slip stitch row. So it's a slip stitch in the back loop only, so work a slip stitch in the back loop only and all the stitches across. After you reached your last stitch, you chain the same amount of chains. Now here I made 6, so I made 6. Don't forget you need 1 extra chain as turning chain. Turn your work over and again work half double crochets in the 3rd bump here. So yarn over, insert your hook in the back bump, the 3rd loop, and work your half double crochets all across. So I worked till the beginning of my sleeve, and now I just continue working half double crochets as normal. Don't forget to work here also in the 3rd loop inside, and yeah, I will meet you there. So now you work your half double crochets all across. So you repeat working in the same 2 row repeat until the split for your head and the front opening, the front split, will be reached. And yeah, just continue. So this is how your project will look like. So the front and the back panel is ready, and now it's time for the opening, the split. And the last row was a half double crochet row, and now you chain 1 and work the slip stitches in the back loop, but just until the amount of chains written in the pattern, which is approximately the half of your piece. So I chain 1 and turn and work slip stitches until the half. So I worked my row of slip stitches until here. You follow for sure the amount of chains written in the pattern, and then chain 1 and turn and work half double crochets back down. So I work the half double crochets until here and chain 1, turn, work your slip stitches back until here. Okay, now again chain 1, work half double crochets back. So now we assume that the back part for the split opening is done now. This was our last row of half double crochets. So if you would fold your kimono, so we would have the sleeve and then the body part, and here would be your head and then the front opening. And now we have to work the second part for the body and then again the sleeve. And for this we chain 1, work our slip stitch back loop only until here, and then we add the chain amount we had here to come to the same length. So I work the slip stitches now, and now I will just go on and chain the amount. Don't forget to add 1 more chain as turning chain and work again in the back loops, in the back bumps of your chain, and work the half double crochet row not only in your chains but also here inside. So I work my half double crochets here in the chains inside, and then I will just go on and add the half double crochets here. So it looks like this now, and for sure you're adding now the length, the same amount of rows for this part here, here, and I will meet you back there. Now I work the same amount of rows on this side, and yeah, so if we would fold our kimono, it would look like this at the moment. So here we need to add the sleeve, and then we can start with the collar and sew the sides, and we're finished. But before, we have to cut yarn now. Fasten off, fasten off, turn your work, you attach your yarn again on the stitch like written in the pattern. So for me it's this one. I attach it here, and as this is the single crochet row in the back loop, I will work single crochets in the back loop over the next stitches in the amount of my sleeve. So this is the amount of stitches for the sleeve. Now chain 1, turn, and work half double crochets back. I work the row of half double crochets, and now you just repeat this as often as needed to get the same amount of rows, and for the other side of your sleeve. So I chained now the same amount of rows, and now you can cut yarn and fasten off, and as you know, this is your right side and this is your wrong side. You're gonna fold your piece like this. And now we have to sew together this side here and this side, and then we're adding the collar here. To sew your kimono, we are turning your piece on the wrong side, so we are opening up and like just turn it on the wrong side, and then we just pick one side. That's not important where you start, and we will attach the yarn down here, like on the bottom line of your kimono. We attach the yarn here, and here, as we have our stitches, we can work nicely into the stitches, and here for the sleeve we just have to decide where to enter the needle. To sew, we will always use this loop here, which is closer to me, and this one here, which is more far away. So we are entering here and here and sew it, and then all the way back and forth until you made it to your armpit. So now we reached the armpit. We sew this one here together, and here's the armpit, and as we have no real stitches to work in, we have just to choose the best place to sew the pieces together. And yeah, just try your best to work evenly. So now this is sewn together, and I personally like to turn around and sew again this and this side to just make it more secure, but you're free to decide. So, and once you're done, you can turn your piece on the right side. You repeat the same with the other side. So you finished your little kimono, the body panel, and now it's time to add the collar here around, and you have to change the hook size as written in the pattern, and then you attach your yarn down here on the stitch, doing just the back loop. And we're working single crochets just in the back loop all the way around. So in the original pattern I used here for the collar another color, but you can for sure do whatever you like. And now we reached the very last normal stitch. Yeah, so before you work the last normal stitch and enter the back panel here for our back, you work a single crochet 2 together, still in the back loop of the first stitch. So enter your hook, pull up a loop, we have one loop, we have 2 loops on the hook, and insert your hook into the first stitch of your back panel, yarn over, pull up a loop, you have 3 loops in the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops, and this is how you single crochet 2 together. And here for the back panel, as we have no real stitches inside, you just try to set your stitches quite evenly, working single crochets all along. And when reaching the very last stitch before the front part starts, we also single crochet 2 together. And here on the front again, just in the back loop. So I reached now my last stitch. I chain 1, turn, and work single crochets in every stitch across. And this will be repeated as often as it's written in the pattern, or as often as you like. Don't forget that this will be a double folded collar, so we're working the doubled width we want for our actual collar, because we will fold it inside to have a thicker and nicer drape for the collar. So you work as many rows for the collar as you want, or as the pattern says. So before you attach your yarn here, so it's important that you end up on the other side, okay? So you did the last stitch and fasten off, leave a long tail for sewing. Now it is our plan to fold the collar here over. So I will shortly show you how to fold and sew the collar on a different sample, as you can see it just a bit better. So here I finished the last single crochet row. I ended up on the opposite side than where I started, and now you cut your yarn just with a very long tail and start sewing. Before we fasten off and insert our sewing needle. So this is the right side of your kimono, and you want to fold your collar here like this. Okay, and here you can see the very first line here. This is like the front loop, the unworked front loop from before. So the first single crochet row we worked just in the back loop, as you remember, and this is the front loop. And we still want the front loop to be seen when we finished our collar, like this. So this is still visible here. And that's why we have to insert our needle into the body of our single crochet rows. Therefore, I insert my needle here, first from the back, insert the needle in the body of the single crochet, and then into my current stitch here. And again here into the body of my first single crochet and in my current stitch here. And I will just repeat this for sewing the whole collar. And after this, you can see that's double folded here now, but you can still see this line here showing up. And now we have the double folded collar, which will for sure look a bit different on your original big piece, but that's just how it works. And that's how you finished your kimono.